Hi, this is Natasha Alott here from Get Blissed. Tonight I just wanted to share with you some thoughts I had about education and also about sharing. So, in other words, contribution. Now, what is education? It's not what you learn in the home, it's not what you get taught at school, although that's a good start, right? It's more of what you start to learn for yourself. If you like, take responsibility. Once you understand that you are amazing, you can achieve anything when you start planting that seed in your head of what you can achieve. Then your appetite will grow for learning and for discovering new things. And you almost have an adventure with yourself, right? Start to question, challenge and change the things that you have been brought up to believe, brought up to think, the culture you've been brought up in. Don't diss them, don't judge them, accept them or leave them behind. Change what doesn't work for you, educate yourself, take full responsibility for who you are and who you want to be. Be congruent in your life and ask yourself this question: am I the person that my parents think I am, have taught me to be? Am I this person that my school teachers and peers have told me I ought to be? Am I this person who my colleagues and my friends have expected me to be? Or am I in fact somebody completely different? When you have that awareness, wow, it opens such possibilities and lots of doors, because you can start seeing for yourself with your own eyes who you really are. You may be surprised to see what you find. So you can start off by writing a list of all of the qualities you think you have. Start inquiring, doing personality tests, and there are so many on the market, and the more you do, the better, more rounded picture you will get about who you really are. What makes you tick? Why do you respond in a certain way to certain people, to certain situations, to certain things? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What makes you want to get up and rush out of bed in the morning? Are you slovenly on a Monday? If so, why? Are you excited on a Friday? Why is that too? If you get up really early on a Saturday, Sunday morning and struggle to get out of bed in the week, what's that saying about you? About what you're doing with your life? And start educating yourself. Read all of the things that fascinate you. Listen to all of the people that you admire. And read books. Lots and lots of books. I hadn't really read very many books. Not until I was, well, maybe 10 years ago. And I started reading first one book, and then another book, and then another book, and then another book. And then there were so many books I was interested in. I had a stack of 25 books next to my bed. And I was reading about 8 of them. And I thought, this is crazy. I can't get these books all read. I've got work to do, and I've got sleep to have, I've got kids to look after. Then I discovered audiobooks. Then I discovered YouTube. So I plugged in at night, so it was going in subliminally, and I'd listen to them in the car, on iBooks, audible.com, those kind of books, and I would just listen to them wherever I was all the time. And then I stopped because I became overwhelmed and I needed to sit for a while. So that's really important too, to listen to everything, have a mind that's open to lots of different potentialities and possibilities. And then just pause and think to yourself, what do I believe? How do I feel? What's true for me? What resonates with me? And then start taking 100% responsibility. for how you feel in your head, how you feel in your physical body. If things aren't working the way you want them to, exercise is a fantastic way of loosening up. Yoga, Pilates, running, swimming, walking, cycling, anything, trampolining, anything that gets you moving, because everything starts to flow inside of you, physically and also mentally, when you're active. Quiet times. I never thought that I'd enjoy quiet times, but oh my gosh, I had a spa day recently and I went by myself. I did not want to speak with anybody. I did an hour and a half of yoga, which was amazing, and tied myself completely in knots. And I was focusing so much on my breath to combat the pain of some of these weird positions that I was 100% focused. And it wasn't until I finished that I realised, wow, I've just spent 90 minutes without any thoughts coming into my head other than focusing on my breath. That was an amazing revelation. It wasn't possible 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. So educate yourself. Learn all the time. Listen to people that you admire and respect. Get around a whole group of amazing people, like a mastermind. People who are like-minded. It could be an official group. It could be a men's group, a women's group, a mixed group. I like mixed groups best because you get both dynamics, masculine and feminine. And I think that really works lovely. I'm also involved in a women's group, which again is very powerful, very open, very, good for sharing and trust building. And then get into an amazing mastermind group, whether it's people who you just resonate with, people who are your friends you hang around with, or people that you've handpicked and have a huge amount of respect for. And share with these people and let them share with you. Be willing to learn, be willing to be coached, and also be willing to share with them, so that together it's like baking a cake. You don't make a cake just with flour. It won't work. You don't bake a cake just with eggs. That wouldn't work either. And so by educating yourself and sharing with other people and collaborating with other people, it's a much more potent, creative and evolving entity, because you learn from those around you, those people who are on your wavelength, those people who have the same mindset as you. They're going to help you grow. They're going to encourage you to grow. They're also going to challenge you to help you stretch, step outside your comfort zone. And they're probably going to push you further than you might even push yourself. And that is really important, because it's not called a comfort zone for any other reason than it's what you're comfortable in. And you're not going to evolve and stretch and develop as a human being to the extent that you will stepping outside of your comfort zone. Because stepping outside of that comfort zone might be a very fearful thought for you. And yet the second you do it, oh my goodness, you think, what is all the fuss about? I was in my comfort zone. I've stepped outside my comfort zone and I've done it. Wow. So what's next? And slowly, little by little, you will realise that you are pushing yourself, that you are stretching yourself, that you are evolving into the person that you always wanted to be. And 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line, you'll look back and think, gosh, yeah, I did it. That's amazing. And you'll start recognising the people around you that supported you in that journey. And you'll feel a deep sense of gratitude. And you'll also be able to be inspired to help other people and to share your story. So educating yourself and others and sharing with others is so important. It's how we grow, it's how we evolve. We're all connected anyhow. So why would you not want to take advantage of somebody who has skills that complement your own? Who has skills and gifts and personality traits that without them in your team, without them on your side, you couldn't achieve what you want to achieve. So seize this moment. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't put it off. Do it right now. Have a think about what you can learn, how you can educate yourself. Do you want to buy a new book? Do you want to listen to an audio? Do you want to research somebody? Do you want to reach out on Facebook or LinkedIn and connect with somebody who you've always admired. Because people who are teachers, people who are successful, people who are entrepreneurs are more than happy to share. Because they want you to be as good as you can be. So reach out now. Have a fabulous evening. See you soon.
Hello, thank you for joining me. My name is Haroon Rabbani, and I'll be speaking at the Dating and Relationship Conference. And during that conference, I'll be sharing with you some of the most amazing tips on how to attract your ultimate soulmate. And you know what? If you're within a relationship right now, this is also for you. So I'll see you then. But right now, I've been asked by my good friend Desmond O'Connor, Des O'Connor, to make a quick video about a topic which will be hugely, hugely important. So I want to cover a couple of things. First of all, you've probably heard of the law of attraction, and I don't know about you, but a lot of people have got a lot of mixed feelings about law of attraction. Well, there is a universal law, a spiritual law, which is even more powerful than the law of attraction. It is called the law of intention. And in fact, many people have written about it. My good friend Lynn McTaggart has written numerous books on intention. And the late, great Wayne Dyer has written a book called The Power of Intention. And I'm sure Deepak Chopra and a number of others have written about it. But here's the thing. How do you put it into practice? So let me first of all rewind you back and get you to understand the concept of intention. If you take an atom, so if you look at your hand and you go deeper into your hand, you see the skin, and you go deeper and you magnify it and you go deeper and deeper, and you eventually get to molecules and eventually get to atoms. And when you look at an atom, the smallest part, and obviously the smallest whole parts, that is because you can get smaller parts within an atom called subatomic particles. So when you get to an atom, you will find that 0.0001%, it's a very small number by the way, is matter. 99.99999% recurring is non-matter. So isn't that interesting? So I've worked with and I've interviewed scientists like Nassim Haramein, for example, who's an amazing physicist. And when I've discussed this particular topic about what's this 99.999%, it's not empty space. Within that space that exists is something called intelligence, so it's information, and get this, Dr. John Demartini definitely concurs with this, it's called intention. So you and I live, we are a sea of intention. So if you look at your own body, it's a sea of intentions. The space around you, it's not empty. You might not be able to, just because you can't see what's there, it doesn't make it empty. That's also intentions. Everywhere you look, there's intention. If you're within a room, say for example, and there's 2 or 3 of you in the room or 100 of you in that room, you are in a sea of intentions. Now, when you get your intention absolutely clear, then you start impacting on the reality that you create. So let me give you an example. So you have, obviously there's trillions of atoms and obviously the intentions that go with them. You also are composed of 50 to 100 trillion cells in the body. Now, you don't have to consciously say to, for example, your eyelash or your eyebrow, hey eyebrow, you got to grow. It just does it, right? So your cells work individually and in communities, and the communities come together and they have bigger communities. So they're called, first of all, you got tissues, so you might have fatty layers, for example, you'll have muscular tissue, etc. They work together in different communities and different capacities. So your whole body is full of communities. And the thing with intention is this. You might say, well, Haroon, I want to find my soulmate. How come I don't find my soulmate? If intention, all of that kind of stuff works, why am I not attracting that ultimate soulmate? But here's the thing. When you set your intention, most people don't realize that they're subconsciously or unconsciously setting many other intentions. So when you've got all these conflicting intentions, the one that has most energy, the intention that receive most energy is the one that materializes. So you've probably heard the saying, where energy flows, sorry, where attention goes, energy flows. So here's an example. If you're looking for a soulmate and you're thinking of your past relationship, let's just say, I don't know, I was in a relationship where my partner was very controlling, let's just say, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I'm looking for this handsome guy or beautiful woman, but the one thing I don't want is somebody who's controlling. And in fact, that controlling nature of your ex-partner, or could have been your father or whoever, this controlling nature bothers you. So somewhere in your mind, you reflect back to, oh, I don't want to be with this kind of person. And when you keep on paying attention to one particular area, so let's just say negative area, then that then becomes your intention. Crazy, right? So what you've got to do is be very clear as to what it is that you want, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be in your career, is to have total clarity into exactly what you want. So if this was a room full of, out of 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, and we all had competing intentions, the person with the greatest clarity of vision, coherence, meaning alignment in their intention, so they have greatest clarity of vision, that means they have certainty of vision, and they have coherence, they're aligned with their intention, that person will rule the intentional field. So you can use that in business. So say, for example, if you're presenting to an audience of 20, 30 people, you might be a coach, you might be just a presenter selling a product, 20, 30 people, when you've got total clarity and certainty about what your product or service is going to, how it's going to help them, then you've basically aligned your intention, you've aligned your heart, which is a big topic in its own right, and your vision, you've aligned them all together. And that is given at that information is transmitted out into the hearts of all the people in the audience. And when that happens, you become a true influencer. So here's an example, a bit of a naughty example, but I'm going to use it anyway. Hopefully it doesn't go out to everybody in the world, but so in 2007, I met this amazing lady at a conference, and we were talking about consciousness and stuff like that. Now, this particular person I was staying at Leicester at the time, at my family's home, and this person was speaking at an event on a Sunday, and she texted me early on in the day and said, Haroon, do you want to meet up for a drink after, I've finished my conference, and we can go for a drink or a bite to eat? And I said, yeah, sure, let's do that. So we were going to meet at 8:15, I think it was. I was about 5-10 minutes late. But anyway, just before I arrived, the journey was 15 minutes. And in my mind, I set the intention that I'm going to go there. She's going to invite me to her room. She's going to be dressed up in grey. Don't know why grey, it just came to me. She was going to be in grey in PJs. And she's going to say to me, Haroon, let's have a cup of tea in my room instead. So we'd go into the room, and then she'd ask me if I could massage her neck. And then obviously one thing would lead to another, etc. I set that intention, and then what I did was, this is very important. This is the next bit, which is extremely important, is I released all attachments to wanting that particular intention to manifest. So there I am. I appear at the hotel, and I go to the reception area, and I look around, and it's one of those Holiday Inn Express where there's not much of a reception area, and there wasn't anyone there. It was on a Sunday. So I thought, where were we going to have coffee? So I phoned her up. She said, Haroon, can you come up? I'm a bit tired. I've already eaten. You were running late. 5 minutes, by the way, running late. You were running late. I've already eaten. I went to the room, knocked on the door. I kid you not. She opened the door, and she was in grey. Exactly how I'd envisioned it. And even her posture was exactly how I envisioned it. I went into the room, we were drinking a cup of tea, quite boring. And she said, I'm going to just go off and have a shower because I'm feeling a lot of tension. She goes off, has a shower, comes back out. And basically, you won't believe it, she asks, for a massage, and I can let your imagination figure out the rest of it. So the power of intention can be used not in a manipulative way, although you can manipulate. And personally, I think karma will bite your bum later on. So, don't use it for negative purposes. How do you set your intention? I mean, very simply put, what you do is you envision what you want, and you have to envision it with your mind, with your heart, with your gut, with your whole entire body. And then you don't have to envision it for ages and ages, but then you release attachment to it. So you can do that in any aspect of your life. So the best way to find out how to use it is practice. The other thing you can do is the best time to set intentions are during the new moon phase, because that's when farmers plant their seed, and that's when the power of intention gets magnified many fold. If you I've created a CD program, audio program. It's actually MP3, which is called the New Moon Intention. If you'd like a copy of that, it's very inexpensive, high value. Normally I'll charge like £100 for something like this. This is the first time I made it commercially available. So you can go onto my website, untangledfm.com /shows/shop. untangledfm.com /shows/shop. My name is Haroon Rabbani, and I'm very excited and looking forward to meeting you in person at the Dating and Relationship Conference in London on the 23rd of July 2016. Bye for now.
Hello, it's Ashka Colton of Get Ready for Love. Welcome. Let me start from introducing myself and telling you a few words about what I do. So I am the Get Ready for Love mentor, and I work with conscious single ladies who are tired of dating and disillusioned with the whole dating game, struggling to find the one, and perhaps they have even given up on love. I help them to go within and reconnect with themselves, and also value and love themselves more, so they can make better romantic choices in the future and get ready for true love. And today I want to talk about something very important, which I personally believe is a fundamental thing in the love search. It's finding yourself first before you find love. Before you even start dating, before you invest hours and emotions and energy into looking for love, you need to know who you are. And on this logical level, it's about knowing who you are as a person, what you want from life, what your needs are, your values, your dreams. These are very logical things. But also it goes deeper. It's about finding your wholeness, feeling complete as a person, because that will stop you from desperately looking for love and grabbing any opportunity just to be with someone, because you don't know how to be on your own, and you want to be loved. I think all these things can come from within first, then you are in a much better position to attract a better person, a better partner for life. So why is finding yourself so important? When I look back at my experience, when I didn't know what I was looking for and who I was in the first place, I was a little bit desperate, and I would be just getting into a relationship with anybody just not to be single, because it felt uncomfortable. I didn't know how to be single, how to be in a relationship with myself. So you can imagine that my romantic choices were not the best. So I used to invest lots of time and energy and emotions into the wrong relationships with the wrong guys. So there was lots of heartache involved, lots of tears, and lots of rejections as well. So it was an emotional roller coaster for many years for me. And when I suddenly realized that something is going wrong here, and I needed to reevaluate my approach to love and relationships, I felt this deep desire to reconnect with myself and finding who I was. So I started to do lots of things. Some were spiritual, some were not spiritual, but all of them helped me to discover that I'm actually a complete person. I don't need anybody to complete me. And I lost my thoughts. And when you find yourself in that place, you stop really chasing relationships and chasing love. You have clarity who you want to attract, who you want to choose for a life partner, and you have healthy boundaries which help you also choose better people. Also, you have this strong sense of self, so you are much stronger in a relationship, and there's no chance you will lose yourself in a relationship. I don't know about you, but that used to be my problem. Every time I finished a relationship or I was dumped, I felt like half of me was gone, that I left a big part of me in that relationship. So that's why I believe finding yourself is so crucial before you even start looking for someone else. And so now it would be very helpful probably to give you a few tips how to really spend some time looking for yourself and finding yourself. So the best way is to actually confront what you are afraid of. So I know for myself and for many women I work with, being lonely is a big challenge. So the first thing I did in my search was to actually spend some quality time in solitude. I spent weekends on my own because that was what I dreaded the most. Every time I finished a relationship or every time I was dumped, I was scared of facing a weekend on my own. So I filled it in with all the possible duties, obligations, commitments, meetings, everything, just not to be on my own. So I changed my approach and I started to spend quality time with myself. I meditated, I did yoga, I did lots of things which would ground me and helped me go within. And I think it's the first step to kind of become familiar with being with yourself, being in a relationship with yourself, which leads me to another tip, which is to create an amazing relationship with yourself. Because your relationship with yourself is the anchor in your life. Whether you are single or you are in a relationship, it is the relationship which will keep you grounded, because it's the only one which is guaranteed for the rest of your life. Everything else comes and goes. Your next partner can come and he can go. Your kids are here today, but they will leave at some point. So your relationship gives you the security, the stability in life. And so how do you do a relationship with yourself? Again, quality time with yourself, filling your days with some rituals which will help you nourish the relationship with yourself, like reflection, meditation, journaling, even doing something for your physical body, like a bath, a nice meal. Basically everything you would be doing in a relationship with a partner. We all know that, relationships require work. They just don't grow and blossom and evolve on their own. We have to make an effort to keep them growing, keep them becoming better and improving them. The same goes for the relationship with yourself. You have to invest time and energy to maintain that beautiful connection with yourself and create that intimate connection with yourself, because it will serve you very, very well every time you go through some kind of difficulties in life and challenges. And last thing, which I'm supposed to talk about, and now I have to look into something I have written before, is going back to the basics. It's discovering your needs and your wants and taking the first step, which means taking responsibility for them, fulfilling and satisfying them. Because Once you have fulfilled your needs and your wants, you won't be desperately looking for someone who would provide for you. So, for example, if you want to feel loved, give love to yourself. If you want to feel supported, become your first supporter in your life. Then, when you have that covered, you'll be looking from a completely different place. You will be happy within, you will feel complete as a person, so there won't be a desire for self-approval, for love, and for being provided with comfort and admiration, attention, whatever we want from our mate. Which, by the way, doesn't mean we will stop wanting these things. We'll still want these things, and it's perfectly fine to want them because we are human and we want them. But they won't be running the show, which means they won't be pushing you towards anything. The first opportunity which comes your way, you will have the stability within, you will have the clarity, the judgment to see if the person you are dating is the right person for a long haul, not someone to have a fling with, unless you just want to have a fling. But you will see the potential, you will see the truth, because you will be grounded within yourself and you will be making better choices. So I hope I have given you a few insights into why spending some time to find yourself is so beneficial for your future relationship. And I would really love to invite you to my speech during the Dating and Relationship Conference on the 23rd of July. And I will be talking about how to transform your love life through the dating detox. I wish you a beautiful day, and I see you on the 23rd. Bye bye.
Hello, I'm Caroline Heward, the Harley Street Stress Expert and Relationship and Intimacy Mentor. My company, Stress Express, provides you with fast solutions to deal with your stress, identifying root causation issues to obliterate your problems. Today, I want to share with you how you can reignite your spark in your relationship that's run into domestic domain. Domestic bliss, they call it. I want to move you into a new state of reigniting that spark in your relationship. So I want to share with you one of the ways that you can move from that space. And it's important for you to understand how that happens. So when you're in your corporate world, when you're working, the corporate world is a masculine structure. It is hierarchical and it's masculinized in its command and control. So when you're working, you are in this masculinized energy. Now, we are both masculine and feminine energy. What do I mean by that? The masculine energy is thinking, conversational, it's doing, it's analytical, it's going round, finding the solutions and the practical. It's a visual and an activity energy. So you wouldn't get anything done if you weren't in that energy. So as we are both masculine and feminine energy, the woman gets into the masculine energy while she's in the corporate environment. And so does the man. But remember, we are both masculine and feminine energy. The feminine energy is all about the feelings and the emotions, and it's all about the softer stuff, the more creative. The feminine energy resides in the belly, below the navel. That's in the sexual chakra. Now, the feminine energy is all about feelings and emotions. You couldn't run around in the corporate world in your feelings and emotions. Nothing would get done. But I'm sure you've seen people when they're in their feelings and emotions in the corporate world where things really don't get done. So when you go home after having that really busy day, back into your relationship, you're still in the masculine energy. You're still in that doing, practical, analysing and thinking conversational energy. So you might have a diary that has a lot of activities, just like it does at work. Now, if your diary has a lot of activities, this is very common for most people that are living in their masculine energy. I used to have a diary like that. But when you're in your feminine energy, then it's easier to sit doing nothing and just to be in the space of your own space and feelings. It's very easy to feel calmer and more relaxed, not feeling that you have to be anywhere at any particular time. So how do you move from thinking, conversational, mind consciousness to heart consciousness and get back into your feelings and emotions? How do you move from here to here? When you move from mind to heart, you reconnect to your 5 senses. The 5 senses, what do you see, hear, smell, taste, feel? And it's not feelings of sadness, loneliness, anger, heartache. That's feelings of mind consciousness. Heart consciousness, the feeling is, how does the water feel on my skin in the shower? How does the shirt feel against my chest? How does the wind feel in my hair? How does the sun feel on my face? Sensory feel. So moving from mind to heart is really not that difficult. But because you've been in the masculine structure all day, it is not uncommon for you to stay in it in the evening. So when you meet your partner in the evening, you're still in the masculine energy. That can cause some problems. That can move you into the practical of the domesticity of the relationship. You know what I mean. You get things done. You work together. But does it really work? I've spoken to literally hundreds of people that are struggling in that domesticity. I've had many, many people ask, how do you reignite the spark? How do I get that back? How do I feel more in the relationship? Many people say, isn't that the way it is? That's just how it is when you're in a relationship for a length of time. But no, it isn't. And you can do something about it. And you can reignite that spark in your relationship. Do you remember when you first had a date? You would have that getting ready feeling. It'd be in the diary, but you'd be getting ready. You'd be wondering what you're going to wear. You'd be wondering what you're going to say. And you'd be wondering how to wear what jewelry if you're a woman, and if you're a man. You'd be wondering what shirt, what suit, maybe not a suit, maybe jeans. But you'll be texting each other, and you'd get that feeling when you get a text back where your heart skips a beat. Have you had that feeling before? So when your heart skips a beat, it's all very exciting, and it's very easy when you first start seeing someone. But then when you move into the domesticity of a long-term relationship, those things just aren't there anymore, because you get into a routine. Domestic bliss, they call it. But there's a reason they call it domestic bliss. It's a skit. It's not blissful at all, but it is practical and it's real life. So how can you get that spark back into your life? Well, one of the things I would suggest is that you diarise a date night, that you diarise time with your partner, where you do have a ritual of getting ready and choosing what to wear and choosing the restaurant. So how does the date night work? Well, when you go on have you ever been to a restaurant where you've just lost track of time? That the time just went really quickly? Have you ever had that experience? I've been in restaurants where the whole restaurant is cleared and I haven't even noticed. And I've been the last one out. On so many occasions, I've just lost count. Has that ever happened to you? Where you've been so in the experience of being with that person that you're not even in the experience of thinking and analysing anymore. You're not thinking, is the soup going to come out cold? Is the steak going to come out overdone? Is that waiter going to trip up over the umbrella that's sticking out? Is she going to bring up that subject? Is he going to talk about that? None of that is going on. You are in the experiences of your senses. What do you see, hear, smell, taste, feel? And when you're in your five senses, there is no room for thinking, conversation, and analytical mind. No room at all. And when you're in the thinking, conversation, analytical mind, you cannot get into the experiences of the body. So when you are in thinking, conversation, analytical mind, when you're in your intimacy in the bedroom, things get a little mechanical, almost like a practical thing that there becomes no feelings and emotions. So how do you get back into experiencing from a new place? The sexual energy resides in the belly, below the navel. That's the seat of the emotions and the feelings. And when you go down into your own feelings and emotions, intimacy in the bedroom goes to another level. What I can share with you is a very fast way to move into your sexual energy. And it's through breathing. If you breathe down into the belly, all the way down into the belly, you are going to feel different. You move from mind to heart and you reconnect to your five senses and you begin to feel from a new place and a new space. There is no room for thinking when you are in that space. All there is the experiences in your body. Now, when you move into your body and you are in your relationship with your partner, bedroom becomes a reignition of your spark. I look forward to sharing more things with you. I'm Caroline Heward, the Harley Street stress expert and intimacy and relationship mentor from Stress Express, providing you with fast solutions to deal with your stress and obliterate the root causation of your issues.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. My name is Wendy Felicity Firmin Price. I'm the award-winning author of The Heart of Stable Relationships and known as the Relationship Healer. I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts, ideas and experiences at the Dating and Relationship Conference with my talk entitled How to Stop Kissing Frogs and Find Your Prince. And gentlemen, so you don't feel left out, we will also help you stop having to endure those ugly sisters and stepmothers and help you find your Cinderella. Maybe you're here because you are feeling disillusioned about love. Perhaps the pain of past rejection or betrayal has been too great and you've shut the door on love. Maybe you've had your heart broken one too many times and you have sworn to stay single. Or perhaps you just don't trust yourself anymore to make the right choices. Well, what if you could change all that? Imagine being able to feel much more confident in your decisions, really being able to allow discernment to come into play. Imagine being able to attract the perfect partner for you where you can totally let go and trust both of you. And how about having a relationship that supports you wholeheartedly and allows you to be totally yourself and still be loved, warts and all? Well, not only do I believe this is possible, I am living proof. More about that later. So why should you come and listen? Well, I'm sure you'll agree that the subject of relationships can be a minefield. Yet there's no way you can be that you're not in relationship to someone or something. Some of you may think you have opted for a single life trying to avoid the challenges of communication and commitment with another person, but you still have to be in relationship with yourself, life, or even things like money, food, and other seeming inanimate objects. The relationship you have with yourself is perhaps the most important relationship you can ever have, and is at the core of problematic partnership patterns. But why come along now? Well, would you agree that never before has there been such an important time in history where we really need to learn how to communicate better? Look at the wars with other countries, the rise in divorce, the breakdown of the family unit, the increase of single-parent families. Dating sites are making a fortune on the desperation and neediness of quick-fix relationships. Heartbreaks and unhappiness seem the theme of every song and Mills and Boon type books. It appears as if we have literally lost the heart of being in relationship. Well, maybe you're asking yourself, well, what will I get from attending this talk? May I ask you another question? Do you want to break through these patterns? Do you want to feel loved and be loved again? Do you feel now is the time and you really are ready for love? Well, I'm sensing the answer could be yes. And if so, allow me to share my unique Freedom from Frogs formula. And an unusual way, you'll be able to come and test that out. Why me? Who am I to give this talk? You may rightly ask. Well, as someone who earned my degree in frogology, you know, that ancient art of consistently kissing frogs in the vain hope of finding your prince, I finally found a formula that allowed me to find mine. After years and years of unsuitable, unavailable, and unhealthy relationships, I was forced to have to do something different. I was extremely resistant to some of those changes initially, and I even ridiculed their source. However, as Arthur Schopenhauer, and I do apologise if I haven't pronounced his name right, states, when truth hits consciousness, first it is ridiculed, then it is violently opposed, and then becomes self-evident. Well, when I had the courage to allow in the self-evident stage, my life changed dramatically, and not only in the dating department. My financial situation improved, my business became profitable, and most important, I did find my Prince Charming. Without these princely principles, you will find it difficult to break these patterns. You will still go out forgetting to take your inner guidance system. You know, your reject radar, that will probably be overridden, and your alarm piles will still be on mute. Without understanding how these patterns get formed, you will blindly keep making these mistakes, continuing to get your heart broken and your happiness thwarted. How would it feel to finally find your prince or catch your Cinderella? Following the Freedom from Frogs formula gives you the tools to tune up your intuition. You'll get your gut feelings geared up, actually action your alarm bells, and make sure you have your real eyes on. We are all worthy to receive love. It's our birthright to have happy and harmonious lives. We all need connection and to feel cared for, and that includes you. Relationships do not have to be complicated. Come and discover how to simplify yours and allow yourself the love you deserve unconditionally. See you there, Saturday the 23rd of July, the Strand Palace Hotel at 11 a.m. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Ali Reiner. I'm a relationship transformation coach, and I'm really pleased to be able to come and talk to you today. A little bit about what I do and really what I believe in. I work mostly with women who are very, very unhappy in their relationships, whether it's their marriage or whether it's their long-term partnership. They've kind of lost sight of where the relationship's headed, lost sight of themselves within that relationship, and really are at that, sort of desperation stage. And I work with you, if you're feeling like that, in order to reconnect with what you want from yourself and what you want from life and what you want from that relationship. Because what happens when we're in that headspace is we get so caught up in that one thing that isn't working, that one part of our life that isn't working, i.e. our relationship, that we lose track of the rest of it. So I like to take you a big step back and get you to take a big look at your life, see how your life is, see what works, what is going well, because it's not all gloom, doom, despair. There are parts of your life that are working very well. There are parts of your life that you don't want to change, that you relish, but you forget about them because you're completely focused on this part that doesn't work. And so that's kind of what I do with my clients. I use various modalities in order to get them to that point. But something that for me is incredibly important, and it's something you'll hear me talk about time and time again, is it all starts from within. Love, happiness, and frankly, everything else and everything in between is an inside job. So where do we start? When I'm unhappy in my relationship, when you're unhappy in your relationship, if you come to me, you don't know which way to turn, you've got your suitcase in one hand and the phone to call the lawyer in the other hand, we stop you and we say, okay, let's zoom out. Let's take a huge big look at your life. What is actually happening? What would you like to happen? Where can we make changes? What are you talking about? What is going on in here? What are you telling people? What do you feel in your marriage or your relationship? What are people telling you? What are you telling them? What words are you using? Are you using words like, I feel disrespected, I feel ignored, I feel invisible, I don't feel loved, taken for granted? Have a think about it. What words do you use when you're in that headspace? And then let's take it a step to the side. Look at you and your relationship with yourself. How much do you love you in this precise moment? How much time are you putting into really building a relationship with you? Respect. How are your boundaries at the moment? How close do you let people get to you? How many buttons do you find that you're having pushed on a daily basis? Invisible? Again, are you sitting quietly and letting it all go in? Are you scared of being perceived as a victim or as weak or as a whinge bag? So you're just letting it all come in, you're keeping quiet about it, you're pushing it all down, hoping it disappears through your toes and off out again, and instead it's just building up within you. So the very first point that I like to make, and I want to make with you today, is if you're unhappy in your relationship, if you're unhappy with how you feel you're being treated or respected or loved or treasured, appreciated, whatever it is that you feel is not working, you believe is not working, put yourself in that position. How am I treating myself? How much respect am I giving myself? Do I let people push my buttons, or do I say no? You won't speak to me like that. How firm are you? Do you please people rather than say, anything for an easy life? Yes, of course I'll do that, rather than say, no, do you know what, that doesn't suit me today. So take a firm look at you and how you're working. When you've done that, you can then move another step on. What do you want to achieve? How do you want to feel in your relationship? How do you want your partner to treat you? Okay, you write it down. The very first person that needs to treat you like that is you, because nobody can love you, respect you, or treasure you, cherish you any more than you love, respect, treasure, cherish whatever is missing from your life yourself. So you need to lead the way. You need to show us how you want to be treated. And when you are firm in your convictions that you deserve to be treated like this, that you want to be treated like this, that you will do anything not to allow people not to treat you like this, it becomes much easier. You put out very strong signals, and there'll be some resistance to start with. Of course there will. People don't like change. People don't like change in you. They don't like change in me. They don't like change in the weather. But the change is for everybody's good, because it puts you in your power, gives you a sense of being true to yourself, and it's giving other people guidance on how you should be treated. Now, this works. I'm talking specifically about partnerships, marriages, but this works on every scale, works everywhere you turn. Once you are setting those boundaries for you, everyone else falls into line. And those who don't fall into line, well, they fall by the wayside. And that's fine too. That's absolutely fine. We don't want these people cluttering up our minds and our lives when they're just there to take and suck and suck. We want people who appreciate us for being strong, powerful women. So once you've set in place how you need to be treating yourself, and you started practicing it, it's not easy, it doesn't come overnight, but we take one step at a time, small baby steps, but we're always moving forward. And once you're treating yourself as you wish to be treated by others, and you've put your boundaries in place, just watch the ripple effect. Watch the whites of your husband's eyes, your wife's eyes, your partner's eyes, as you start to change. They start to change. And if it's a happy, healthy relationship, they'll be so pleased to see you standing in your power. It'll make them take a step back and look at how they're living their lives, and may well be the very thing that changes them. We don't need to change other people. We can only change ourselves. And when the marriage, when the partnership is in difficulty, we can't start looking and hoping that somebody else will change. The only person that we can hope will change is ourselves. And when that happens, the world's your oyster. When you are being true to you, when you know who you are, not who you think you should be, not who you are in this relationship, or in the relationship you have with your family or your work colleagues, but when you know who you are in your own skin, with your feet firmly on the ground, not anyone else's expectations, not your expectations, but the truth, you can start recreating the relationship of your dreams in the relationship that you're in. You don't need to change the person. You don't need to change the house. You don't need to change the location. All you need to do is start changing the relationship you have with you. It's simple. Ish. It's simple. It takes hard work. It takes courage. But hey, if you're pretty miserable in your relationship anyway, then you're being pretty bloomin' courageous just to get out of bed each day and keep forging forward, doing the same old thing and getting lower and lower and heavier and heavier. So it's worth a try. So that's part of the process that I work with my clients on, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you all and speaking to you all. And have a great day.
Hi, I'm Graham Price. I'm a chartered psychologist, personal executive coach, and development trainer, and a relationships consultant. Most of my work is about helping people to remove limitations from their lives. Before I even became a psychologist, I had plenty of personal experience in achieving this in my own life. At the ripe old age of 27, I took stock of my life and found I had plenty of limitations. Limited attitudes and self-beliefs, limited confidence, limited success in relationships. I was lucky that I met some wise people who told me how to change all this. It took me just a few months to completely turn my life around. I found out how to control my mind, how to choose more productive thoughts, and how to control my feelings and behavior. I gained the ability to act powerfully in any situation. I discovered I could become pretty well whoever I wanted to be. I gained control over my life and became more confident, achieving, and successful. Since then, I've been sharing the secrets I learned with others, first on a one-to-one basis, and since then with tens of thousands through seminars, webinars, and conferences. Let me tell you that you too can take complete control of your life. You can gain huge self-belief. You too can be as successful as you want to be. You too can develop the skills and mindset you need to achieve that. Okay, you can't change the way you look. We're born with that, but you can certainly be whatever body shape you want to be. Yes, you absolutely can. You simply need to learn how to take control of your mind and hence your behavior. I'll be talking about some of the things I learned at Des O'Connor's Dating and Relationships Conference in London on the 23rd of July. Come along and listen. Meet more people looking for relationships. Hear more speakers. Have a great time. I look forward to seeing you there.
So tell us 5 tips that women should never ever do on their first date.
Never do on their first date?
Yes.
Never do. Okay. Tip number 1, I'd say do not speak about your ex-partner.
Okay. What's the second tip?
Second tip is be yourself and be honest. Okay? There's no point you telling him that you're, for example, you're a big shot, independent, successful woman earning 6-figure sum and you're not. Because the lies will come out, and we all do it. We've all told little porkies on the
Men do.
We all do it.
Men do, but women shouldn't do it. Yeah, men do. They even borrow cars and they come
to impress the woman.
And big watch and be like, yes,
to impress the woman. Because we want to impress the woman. And
so women shouldn't do that at all.
No, just be yourself, because the truth will come out in the end.
Okay, so be yourself. That's very important. What's the tip number 3?
Tip number 3, I would say, is do not bring your issues on the table for the first date as well. If you haven't worked on yourself prior to that point, try and work on yourself. But try and make the event you're having with him as positive and as enjoyable as possible. And try not to come across as negative, rude, swear, and those negative traits. There's ways of portraying them as well, and try not to judge them on the first date as well, because we all do not tell the truth on the first date, so to speak. We all like to cover up certain situations, and you may ask a woman when was the last time she had a date, and she may tell you 6 months ago, and it might have been last night, for argument's sake.
Same as men.
Same as men. Just like to say that. Same as men as well.
So don't open up too much.
That's right.
Okay, what's tip number 4?
Tip number 4 is look the part, but don't show too much, especially if it's hot. And what I mean by that is, if you wear a short skirt and showing your cleavage, that could be perceived as a bit too much for some men, especially if he's looking for a woman to settle down with and maybe get married, all those kind of things. That will be perceived as not a serious type of woman, but not too much, because he could be perceived as though you're something else.
Okay, very interesting. Now, tip number 5.
Tip number 5 is what I said originally, is have a screening process in place.
Very
It's so important. You need to
Very
have your plan in place. What do you want to find out about this guy? And align that with what you're looking for. So if you want to be married and settle down, have that question in place to ask him that indirectly.
Tip number 6.
Tip number 6 is to try not to judge him by what he's saying on the first date. Okay, because he may not be 100% telling you honestly what he wants you to hear. Maybe he just wants you to hear what you want to hear. Okay. One more tip that I would say for the women when they go out there and they meet a man is give him compliments as well. Keep smiling. Okay, it's very important. Give him compliments. Keep smiling, and find out what he likes in life in general. You know what makes him tick. If he likes sport and he supports a football team, for argument's sake, then take note of that, because it may, you may see a key ring for £5 and may want to buy it for him. Finding out about himself, ask him, the relationship with his mother, his sisters, the females around him that are important to him, and also listen to what he says about his mother. It's so important, very important. If he's very positive and loving and caring about his mother, he's more likely to be like that with yourself.
Wow. Okay.